Hello there. Welcome to the SPS podcast. In this episode, we're going to be discussing why success is on the other side of emotionally letting go. This concept has been a huge part of my journey, my business journey, my solopreneur journey over the last 2 years. I'm going to discuss 5 key concepts to help you let go. Let's get into the credits. Welcome to the SPS podcast, the Self-Performance Strategies podcast. Unlocking the secrets to success and unlocking the secrets to self-performance so you can improve mentally, emotionally, and physically. The SPS podcast is brought to you by the Pro Accelerator Program, helping business owners and business leaders save at least 10 working hours a week, improve their focus, and make more money. If that sounds like something you're interested in, check out the show notes and follow the links. But let's now jump into this episode. Hello. Welcome. We are in episode 43 of the SPS podcast. And in this episode, as I mentioned in the intro, we're going to talk about why success is on the other side of emotionally letting go. Mastering how to let go unlocks success. And I have direct experience of this in my own life, how I've let go of things and then success has happened. And I'm going to discuss in this episode 5 pieces of advice to help business owners, solopreneurs, business leaders, or anybody really let go of things so they can grow. But before we jump into this episode, before we get into these 5 points and a few personal stories, let's frame this conversation, as we do in every episode, with a quote. And this quote comes from my favorite Stoic, Epictetus. And he said, "Just keep in mind, the more we value things outside of our control, the less control we have." Absolute stomper of a quote. You can only control your thoughts, your actions, and your words. Anything else beyond that, you might be able to influence, but you cannot control it. And the whole idea about letting go is actually letting go of all the things that you can't control. All the things in the world that you cannot control, that you have no control over, the weather, the government, how people react to you. Yes, you can influence some of those things, as I mentioned, but you have very little control when you are brutally honest with yourself. You only control your thoughts, your actions, and your words. But this is where a lot of people go wrong. Entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, business leaders, anybody in general, really, if I'm being brutally honest, we get it wrong because we desire and attach to certain things in our lives, certain outcomes, and this trips us up. And something I'm going to repeat many times in this episode is we have to let go to grow. And I want to share with you these 5 pieces of advice, and all 5 of them kind of intersect, but there are 5 key areas that I've been able to pick out over the last 2 years that have really dramatically helped me improve as a business owner and as a business leader. And then as a result, I've actually seen these ideas help my clients improve as business owners, as solopreneurs, and for them to save time and make more money and defeat limiting barriers because they're letting go of these things, or they're understanding the ideas that I'm going to share with you now. So these 5 key areas, the first one I want to share with you is to stop working crazy hours. We need to let go of this idea, first of all, as a foundation, that working extra hours is a way to get out of problems. When you're stuck, you think working endless hours matters. But it's not until you burn out that you think, wait, what am I doing here? Why am I doing that? This doesn't make sense. And it doesn't make sense. It took me a while to realize this when I first started my business, that working crazy hours doesn't improve my growth, doesn't improve my self-performance, and doesn't actually equal results. So you need to let go of this idea that extra hours equals better results, or extra hours means you're guaranteed results. You're not. Being very intentional and strategic with your work, that equals results. Constantly working on stuff and getting lost and overwhelmed and frustrated, that does not equal results. So the thing that I want you all to do right now, listening to this, and a piece of advice coming from me, coming from my own experience, let go of this idea that when things are tough, you've got to work extra hours. Now, if you're running a project and you've got timelines, yes, doing a sprint for 48 hours for a week and working long days is essential sometimes. But that is a specific environment, a specific situation with specific outcomes that you're sprinting towards. In general, if you're working long hours and you're constantly working 10, 12 hours a day and you're constantly feeling overwhelmed and frustrated, you need to stop doing that. And you need to let go of this idea that long hours equals results. We need to find workarounds and solutions. So that's the first foundation that I want you to understand. And it flows nicely into the second foundation or piece of advice that I would have for you is you've got to walk the path of surrender. And what do I mean by that? Well, we're taught very much in line with the first point. We're taught there are only two ways to solve problems. Work harder, work smarter. Just keep working, and the problem will solve itself out. Or work smarter, which I'm recommending you do in the first equation. Work less hours, but be more intentional. While both these ideas can solve problems, working harder obviously has a negative side effect. Working smarter is very smart and good, and you need to be doing that every day. But as you continue on your journey, you'll learn that neither of these fully accomplishes your goals. They don't quite get you to the promised land. And that's why you need to also let go of specific outcomes. I'm touching on this again. You've got to let go to grow. I'm going to keep repeating this throughout this episode. So you have to let go of the positive and the negative. A lot of people just want to let go of the negative and want to hold on to the positive, but holding on to the positive is just as bad as holding on to the negative. You've got to let go of everything. But the main thing here with running a business, with being a solopreneur, with being a business leader, is you've got to surrender. You've got to set your goals, set your specific goals, work towards your goals, have your productivity zones, but you've got to let go of the desired results. You've got to see everything kind of as a test. And that flows nicely into this third idea that I want to share with you. And this is a concept that goes beyond just letting go. But the idea of letting go is simple but not easy. And I'm going to explain that to you. But I'll explain the main sort of concept first of all. Life is simple. But I will die on this hill. I will fight anybody in a cage about this. I believe life is simple, but it's not easy because we make it not easy. We get in our way. We self-sabotage. We overthink things. We overanalyze past experiences that then stop us from taking action free from anchors of our past. We do this to ourselves. And the older that we are, the more baggage that we have, the harder it can be to actually take action. And so we have to let go of this sort of anchors, or we have to let go of a lot of things. And letting go in itself, the concept of it is extremely simple. Limiting beliefs, upper limit issues, barriers, emotional bullshit. Just let go of it. Just let go of it. It's like stopping a habit. Just stop it. Just stop drinking. Stop smoking. Stop doing it. Just stop doing it. Yeah, it's simple, but it's hard. It's not easy to do it. That's the trick here. Everything in life is simple. Everything in life is simple. Even building a rocket to a rocket scientist is simple because they've figured it out, if that makes sense. Because I always push back when I talk about this on Twitter. People usually come in and be, life isn't simple, blah, blah, blah. No, it is. Get up, be healthy, take action, win. I mean, it's fucking simple when you break it down. It's that we make it complex because we stop ourselves from taking action. We don't get up early. We get in our own ways. The actual process is simple of letting go, except we don't make it easy. Sorry for repeating myself and driving that home. But I want to emphasize that point. Emphasize? Did I say that properly? Is that a correct word? Did I pronunciate that properly? I don't know if I did. Emphasize at this point. But a few things have helped me do this. A few things have helped me make letting go easier. And there are three key things in this third point. Adopting a flexible mindset. Seeing everything as a test. Just being flexible. Knowing that you're going to flow, be like water, that kind of idea. The second one is knowing that letting go does not mean you don't take action. This idea that we're going to become some type of like law of attraction hippie who's just going to let go of everything and the universe is just going to provide. No. What we're doing is we're letting go of the bullshit. We're letting go of the anchors. We're letting go of the negative stuff, but we're still going to take action every day. We're still going to move at pace with intention towards our goals. We need to do that. You need to let go of the bullshit, but letting go does not mean that you become some type of, sloth. But just doesn't mean that at all. And then the third one's having a clear vision, but being okay with detours to get there. I have actually specifically worked with a couple of business owners that are so fixated on their plan that they get caught up by it. They got stuck into it. They got so fixated at staying with a certain project or staying with a certain part of their business and not letting go of it that they fucked up, basically. And it took somebody like myself to come in and give them perspective. And then once you get that perspective, they're like, oh yeah, I should take a detour, I should pivot, I should have changed, I should have let that go. But they knew that already, because you already know what you need to let go of. You already know. Trust me, you do. It's just that you're blinded by your own mental bullshit. Again, letting go simple, but we make it more difficult. So that's the important concept. There are 3 little things to help you if you want to make letting go easier. Adopt a flexible mindset. Know that letting go does not mean that you stop taking action, and having a clear vision, but being okay with detours. So think of those 3 key points. Now, on to the 4th one, a little bit of a story here, and I'm going to frame this story from my own personal experience as letting go to grow story. And again, I'm repeating this concept quite a lot in this podcast, because that's the one thing I want you to take away is let go to grow. So a quick story. The hardest part of my journey was when I saw the results that I wanted not coming in. I took action. I wanted to get certain results. They didn't come in. Guess what happened to me? Because I desired and attached, because I hadn't let go to grow. I'm not speaking very well today in this episode. Because I didn't do all that, because I wanted certain things to happen, I got angry, I got overwhelmed, I got frustrated. It's a story as old as time. But the funny thing is, I actually missed the progress I've been making. I missed the success that I created. I missed that I was making good money online. Yes, was I at the bar that I set myself? Yeah, no, I wasn't there. I hadn't hit those targets. I was below where I told myself I should be, but yet I was still way ahead. I was still making an income that was a living. It was still a good living. And that's the trick here. Because I had desired and attached to certain results, I missed my own progress. So this taught me to stop chasing and let go. And when I did, things changed. Things did change for me quite quickly. I really got my head wrapped around this concept probably June last year in 2022. And the last 6 months of my business, or last 7 or 8 months actually, if you think about June, have been the most profitable months of my business. Something happened, something clicked. Now, am I making millions? No. Have I turned into some sort of Jeff Bezos savant of business? 100% not. But results seem to be coming more regularly and with less frustration in my life. And I put that all down to letting go, because being brutally honest, my processes haven't changed that much. Yes, I'm obviously always getting better, always getting more testimonials, always tweaking and pivoting. But in general, things aren't that much different than they were 8 or 9 months ago, but the results significantly are. And I put that down to a completely different mindset. So this flows very nicely into the final point of this 43rd episode of the SPS podcast. And that is, you've got to stick with it. Now, you will get quick results when you start letting go. I can tell you right now, if you go and grab a journal and a pen and you write out very quickly a bunch of things that you feel like you need to let go of, you will come up with 10, 20 things that you're holding on to, desiring certain goals, attaching to certain external things, friends, family, results, whatever that is. And you can let go of a lot of that quite quickly. But while change will happen and you will get quick results, there will be a certain point where those results plateau, or you will think, oh, I've let go of everything. Success, hurrah, haha. That's not how it quite works, because you will open up new levels, you will unlock new limiting beliefs and barriers that you didn't even know you had. And this is where you'll come across ego resistance, difficult emotions, limiting beliefs. But it's all part of the process. Every business owner I know who has leaned into letting go to grow ends up getting great results. I've worked with people in doing this. I've seen people online in my zone doing this. When you let go of all that bullshit, you can grow rapidly. Now, I honestly believe that this idea of letting go is a marriage of two worlds. I think that you've got to take a lot of action. I think that you've got to keep hammering after your goals. I think you've got to have specific goals, and you've got to want to have a bigger, better future, and you've got to move to make it happen. And then on the other side, I think you need to meditate. You need to let go. You need to be spiritual. You need to be tapped into the universe. You need to almost think about the law of attraction. You need to manifest these things. You need to really connect these two worlds of action and affirmation. Let's say the two A's, action and affirmation. It's a blending of the two worlds. Now, when we get into the emotional realm, there are gurus out there on both sides. That you've got the fitness, grind set, stoic kind of hustle guys, or the really blunt sort of success guys, like just go to the gym and work out and success will happen. Yeah, I get that, but that's not the complete picture. And then the other flip side of that, you've got the sort of like the Eckhart Tolle acolytes, the sit on a sofa and meditate for 10 hours a day and things will just happen to you. Yeah, again, not a bad habit to do once in a while, but in my opinion, reality, it's a mixture of two. It's a mixture of the two ideas. Using that spiritual angle, using that spiritual tools that we can get, and then also combining that with the tactical stuff of taking action and being very focused on our goals. I call it tactical woo-woo. This whole podcast has been about tactical woo-woo, in my opinion, because letting go to grow, I think, is one of the major keys to unlocking success as a business owner, as a solopreneur, as a people leader. Now, if you want to go deeper with this, there are two books I'm going to recommend, or two people that you should go and check out. One of them is David Hawkins and his book, Letting Go. He also has another book called Success is For You. It's two fantastic books. Then you have Michael Singer, who's written a number of books about letting go. And the one that I enjoy, which is more like a lecture where he's talking to you, it's very engaging. It's called The Path of Surrender. Now, if you want to dive deeper into this subject, I recommend those two authors because I am really talking about my experience with their books over the last 2 years and then using those ideas in my own life and then with my clients. And I have seen results not only in my life, but with my clients. And that has come to my conclusion, the brain tattoo that I've mentioned a number of times in this episode already. You've got to let go to grow. Well, that was it. That was the 43rd episode of the SPS podcast. Thank you very much for joining me. I really deeply appreciate you for listening to my little podcast. If you want to hit me up on Twitter at Steve Timoney, it's at STEVETIMONEY, Steve Timoney. Give me a DM. Not give me a DM, send me a DM and let me know what you think of everything. Or you can slide on over to my website, and that's at Stephen Timoney. It's at STEPHENTIMONEY. And you can check out all my newsletters, all my other podcast episodes, and my coaching offer. But thank you very much for joining me, and we will see you in the next episode. Make it a good one.